Looking for these better days.
It is Friday, January 30th. I'm Scott Seidenberg. Here's what you need to know to make today a better day. The countdown continues to the big game next week. The props smorgasbord is out. We are firing on bets left and right, and the NHL gets closer and closer to its Olympic break. NBA also getting closer to the trade deadline. Mackenzie Rivers joins me on this episode of Better Day, presented by FanDuel. And Mackenzie, did you fire on any player props since the last time we spoke?
I have not. No.
So I fired on one.
Which one?
Okay. And I'm not going to, it's like I hate being that guy and say, I got a better line in pocket, right? But
no pass posting.
No pass posting. But listen, we know a lot of people that were out at the Westgate the other night, right? And the 53 pages of props came out. And some of those
I had the over 52.5, so that's already a cash for me.
Good job out of you. But some of these numbers that the Westgate posted are like no longer available, or they're available like they're juiced to other books, right? Like FanDuel has a different line, so you can't bet it at FanDuel. But the one prop that I didn't put it in myself, but I got a piece of it. Okay. Is Seahawks backup running back George Holani. At the Westgate, it was over 8.5 receiving yards. Now, up on FanDuel right now, if you go to the receiving yardage prop for George Holani, the backup running back there for the Seattle Seahawks, he is at 9.5 yards. That is still a play, Mackenzie. George Holani, and this is what we talk about with the prop markets. It's hard to find edges with some of the better known players, right? All of the numbers are going to be taxed. We know the public loves betting overs. We know that the Kenneth Walkers of the world, they're all going to get the big attention, right? But a guy like George Holani, not many people know who he is, and they're like, what are we doing with George Holani? Well, here's what we're doing. We're betting his over 9.5 receiving yards up on FanDuel right now. Last week, filling in for Zach Charbonnet against the Rams, he ran 14 routes, Mackenzie. 14 routes George Holani ran. He caught 3 catches for 27 yards. He was targeted 4 times. This is a very low number for a guy that might be on the field a little bit more than we think here in the Super Bowl against the Patriots. And I think by the time we get to kickoff next Sunday, this line is at least 10.5 or 11.5.
It makes a lot of sense. Books rarely have good initial instincts when it comes from a player like this. It's mostly the bettors shaping up the line. Looks like the game before the playoffs was all the way back on November 16th that he got any snaps at all. So this is really a guess by the book. It would make sense that his workload last week would be similar this week against a worse defense.
Yeah, and so I expect him to be on the field on third downs. I expect him to get, listen, if you look at just the routes share, like we always talk all the time, like target share, but what's important at times is not just target share, it's the routes that are run. And Holani ran 14 routes last week. Charbonnet ran 15 routes last week. So I think that we need to pay attention to that, and I think that's why this is a really good bet here on the receiving yardage props.
Makes a lot of sense. I like it.
So that was the one that I joined in on, if you will, based off of the plethora of odds that were released the other day. And as I mentioned up on FanDuel right now, you can still get over 9.5. That would be a play for me. The couple of props that we're going to have so many prop bets next week. We're going to release all of our props for this game. There's a lot of Drake May stuff that I was looking at. Certainly there's the running backs for both running backs for the Patriots, but something that I've spent a lot of time on, Mackenzie, and I'm happy to announce that we are going to release this to the public for, I don't want to call it beta testing because I feel like we've already beta tested it, but we're going to release it to the public so everybody can get some use out of this, is our brand new Super Bowl virtual assistant. Yes. What do I mean by that? Well, up on betterday.com, and we'll put out the links when we're ready to publish it for next week. We have an ultimate assistant. This is your Super Bowl analyst. You can ask about any player prop, betting trends, play-by-play stats, anything about the Super Bowl you want to ask the chatbot. You ask. You want it to find the best lines for you? Find the best lines. You want it to give you the game logs. Hey, how many times has Drake May gone over 6.5 rushing yards? 6.5 rushing attempts. You can see that. All of this is at your fingertips. Your virtual assistant for the Super Bowl. Tell me your thoughts, Mackenzie, about playing around with this yesterday when we finally got ready to launch.
It's very exciting to have in plain language all the questions you would ask, from the very specific, like how did the Seahawks do on fourth down, to the very general, like how has Drake May done versus passing prop in the last 5 games? Like those are the type of things I'll just think, and then I'll use Google and use football reference in this case, and it takes me about 5 minutes to organize my thoughts. Or I could ask the question, continue to make my eggs and rice or whatever I'm doing, and then pops up exactly the answer, and I continue working.
Yeah, so here's what I'll do right now. I'm going to ask the assistant, what is the best line on Drake May rushing yards? Okay. And so it's going to analyze, and it's going to look at all the sports books available. And it's funny, like you guys can't see this right now because you're listening to this podcast, but I promise you we'll release a little social media video of getting you guys all this information so you can actually see what this looks like. Because I'll be honest, it's pretty freaking cool, right? What we're doing here right now. So the answer, the chat assistant says, the best line, over 36.5 yards, DraftKings -114, best odds for the over. The score bets -120, under 36.5, -110 on DraftKings is your best odds for the under. And then it says analysis. Drake May averages 19.7 rushing yards per game this season. But then it says, it gives us a recommendation on the under. But let me ask this. How many games has Drake May gone over 36.5 rushing yards? Now it's going to think, it's going to analyze, it's going to look at all the Patriots play-by-play data and the box scores and Drake May's game logs. And so whereas, Mackenzie, like you said, you would go to ESPN.com or whatever site you go to, right? And you're going to
then cross-reference it with the prop site.
Yeah, you're going to look at it and you're going to say, all right, well, let's see, what's Drake May's game logs this year? And then you're going to count manually. You're going to go, all right, 1, 2, 3, 4, he went over, which we all do that right now, okay? But this is going to spit out here, here we go. Looking at Drake May's 2025 game log, here are the games he went over 36.5 rushing yards, 7 games this year. And then it spits out in week 3 against the Steelers, he went over. It spits out in week 7 against the Titans, week 8 against the Browns, week 15 against the Bills, week 18 against the Dolphins, wild card round against the Chargers, conference championship game against the Broncos. So 7 out of 20 games over 36.5. That is a 35% hit rate. Now it says the 35% hit rate still suggests the under 36.5 has value, but his recent playoff mobility adds some risk to that bet. What do you think about the response from the chat bot?
That's asking the right questions, as they said in iRobot. That's exactly the right question. There's the year-to-date stats, which we compare. There's the matchup stats, which we look at. And then there's the recent trend lines. And I'm not saying that this AI bot is going to replace handicappers or replace what your good insights are, but it will give you the right questions to start breaking down the puzzle.
And then you can ask it, what is Drake May's anytime touchdown odds? And it'll, as I'm typing that right now, it's going to spit it out, the best odds from every sports book that it has available. And then you could ask it same thing. How many games has Drake May scored a touchdown and things like that? What's also cool is that you can look at, you can ask this thing anything. You can ask even about Super Bowl betting trends. How have underdogs done in the Super Bowl? And it's going to look up the data and it's going to say, underdogs have covered 5 straight in the Super Bowl. We have programmed this thing with all of the information. And when it releases to you guys, just have fun with it. Ask it anything and just, go ahead and have a blast. Right, Mackenzie?
Swing away. Swing away. This is the time. This is the time.
Oh, you know what it also says here? This is amazing. I didn't even know this. So I just asked the chatbot about what do you what this is so sick. I'm like getting excited about my work here. So I asked about underdog trends in the Super Bowl, right?
Right.
And it said and it gave me the trends about the underdogs. It said, here's what it says. It says underdogs are 11-3 ATS in the last 14 Super Bowls, right? Patriots currently 3.5 point underdogs. And then it says historical contest, close competitive games, why underdogs cover, possibility. Then it goes additional note. The referee Sean Smith has a solid 55.3% underdog ATS record since 2018. I mean,
Wow.
come on, man.
What?
We're
Where
adding
did you
in
get that?
we're adding in the refs data? What? Come
That's a pretty
on.
big sample. That's a 7-year sample right there. That's not bad.
Come
Not bad.
on. It's amazing. All right, great stuff. I'm very proud of this bot. The Super Bowl Ultimate Assistant will be live soon, ready for all of you guys up on betterday.com. And then of course, we're going to give out more props here for the Super Bowl coming up next week, and then especially when we're in San Francisco. We'll have the Trench Report as well for the Super Bowl, which right now, the early Trench Report does favor the Seattle Seahawks. But what I'm doing is I'm going to continue looking at like historical matchups, kind of like we did for the championship games, Mackenzie, where it's like, well, this is a similar score discrepancy to what, let's see, the Seahawks had games this year where they were also this many points projected, this many, this big of a rushing edge and things like that. And so we can go over the history of the results of the Trench Report to see what happened. Because the Trench Report predicted both of these teams to lose last week. It had the Rams beating
Rams-Broncos Super Bowl.
It had a Rams-Broncos Super Bowl. So this is like the anti-Trench Report Super Bowl right now between the Patriots and the Seahawks. Do you find it weird? Now, it sounds crazy because like we know about like the Patriots, the history, right? The dynasty under Brady and whatnot. But don't you think it's weird that like even these teams were not supposed to be here, but this is still a Super Bowl rematch? Like, do you find it weird how many times we actually get Super Bowl rematches?
3 out of the 4 matchups were. The only one that wasn't was Rams-Broncos.
Yeah.
It is odd, but it's also a result of the fact that the Patriots seem to always be in the Super Bowl. So it gives you a lot of opportunities for a rematch.
But
Seahawks,
like,
what is this, their 3rd Super Bowl this century? 4th?
But it's the same teams. Like, even though the Patriots and the Seahawks were not expected to be there this year, it's still the Patriots
most unlikely
and the Seahawks.
Super Bowl by the preseason odds of all time. 80-1 for the Patriots by some accounts, 60-1 for the Seahawks.
But it's still a rematch. It's still
They
a
find
rematch.
each other.
Yeah. Have you looked up the results of Super Bowl rematches to see does the winner of the first game win the second game?
I know the Giants did. I know
It's
that.
completely. Listen, I know it's so stupid because it's completely different teams, completely different organizations, right? But I always think it's fun. Like, is this like? Could you imagine if, like, the Patriots have the last play of the game on the 2-yard line, goal to go situation, and Mike Vrabel runs the ball, you know, or
slams it down their throats.
Yeah, or like he runs it and gets stuffed, and then like the
everyone's
Seahawks,
like, "Why wouldn't you at least throw one pass?"
Exactly.
On second down just throw it one time. Maybe a quick slant right across the middle. Why not?
There was a great.
What's the worst that could happen?
Yeah. Do you remember the show The League?
Yeah, for sure.
The fantasy football show.
Yeah, of course.
They did an incredible cold open one time with Marshawn Lynch, right, where they're on the beach. And someone's like, he's like, hey, give me a beer. And Marshawn's like, just hand it to me. I'll go run it over. And he's like, no, I'll just throw it. He's like, no, I'll just throw it to him. And he's like, he's right there. Like, I can just hand it to me. I'll literally walk it over to him. And he's like, I'll throw it. and they throw it and it like hits some like random bystander.
I'm 250 pounds. It's 2 yards away. I'm telling you, just hand it to me.
Oh my goodness.
Great show.
That would. We have the Patriots and Seahawks have the opportunity to do something really, really special. All right, Mac, let's get into the NBA where we gotta ask some serious questions about what's going on in Oklahoma City.
The secret is out. With millions of younger-looking customers across the country, Plexiderm is one of the most highly sought-after products on the market. It visibly shrinks under-eye bags and smooths out crow's feet in minutes, and the effects last up to 10 hours. Influencers love it, magazines feature it, and people just can't get enough of it. As a matter of fact, Elle Magazine gave it an Editor's Choice Award as Best Instant Wrinkle Filler for 2025. In as little as 10 minutes, Plexiderm reduces the appearance of fine lines, wrinkles, and those dreaded under-eye bags. So yes, you can look years younger in minutes, and the effects last for hours. No surgery, no gimmicks, just results. The best news, you can try Plexiderm for only $14.95. Plus, get free shipping. Don't wait, order Plexiderm today. Visit plexiderm.com/special. That's plexiderm.com/special. Paid for by Sheer Science.
If you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt, medical bills, or personal loans, help is here. More and more Americans turn to credit cards to get by. National Debt Relief is helping qualified clients reduce what they owe. For many, continuing to struggle making minimum monthly payments could take years to pay off. National Debt Relief has already helped over 550,000 Americans reduce their debt by negotiating directly with their creditors. When you call, you'll be amazed at how much you can save and how quickly you can become debt-free. If you want off the debt treadmill, visit nationaldebtrelief.com today. You don't need to declare bankruptcy, and you may qualify for significant debt relief. To find out what savings you may qualify for, simply visit nationaldebtrelief.com. That's nationaldebtrelief.com.
Every Friday from 6 to 7:30, it's NBA Happy Hour on FanDuel, your pregame for the weekend. We're talking limited time specials you won't want to miss. Boosts, bonuses, surprises, all dropping in the app during Happy Hour. So before tip-off, check the FanDuel app to see the week's special. Then, make your move before the shot clock expires at 7:30 Eastern. It's the perfect way to start your weekend. A little basketball, a little action, and a whole lot of Friday energy. That's NBA Happy Hour, every Friday from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Only on FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NBA. Must be 21 and older and present in select states. For Kansas, in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino. Or 18 and older and present in D.C., Kentucky, and Wyoming. Opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expiration, leg requirements, and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccp.org/chat in Connecticut or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York.
Let's talk a little NBA, Mackenzie, where the Oklahoma City Thunder were the best team on the planet last year. And they were the best team on the planet to start the year this year. But something's happened with this team lately. A terrible performance last night in Minnesota. And the Thunder are just, they don't look right. I don't know what the answer is. You obviously know more NBA than I do. What is wrong with the Oklahoma City Thunder right now?
I fell victim here. I thought fell victim to the do theory. The Thunder hadn't covered 3 games in a row. They cover 60% the last 4 years under Mark Daigneault. I'm like, okay, well, they're not going to, lay an egg 4 games in a row, but they did. And I think there are a few reasons for it. Number one, as we said yesterday, it's their offense. Their offense has been bad. It got worse when Jalen Williams came back. It got worse when Hartenstein was injured. Hartenstein came back. It was no help. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander really seems like the only one with an edge. Chet Holmgren had 3 shots in the first half. None of them particularly impressive, like mostly fadeaways against Rudy Gobert. Some of it might be just, fatigue. They know they're going to be in the Western Conference Finals most likely. They're going to be there, so they might just take their foot off the gas a little bit. But I think structurally, I remember talking to AJ earlier in this year, and he's like, how is this not the greatest team of all time? And I was like, yeah, pretty much. As far as point margin per game, you can't argue with it. They don't have a Kobe to their Shaq. They don't have a Kevin Durant to their Steph Curry. They're not that talented outside of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who I do think is in the short list of best players in the world. But outside of that, they were a momentum team, an effort team, which might have lacked recently. But their top end talent isn't what separates them as much as their system and their belief 1 through 10, and that might be starting to wane. By the way, Hartenstein came back and was terrible. So that's I didn't in my handicap didn't think he would come back. That was a surprise. 4 fouls in the first half and looked a step behind. That's something we always expect with players coming back after a long layoff.
That's a good point. The thing, like you said, something that kind of like sticks out to me, and it's the idea of they know where they're going to be at the end of the season. And so you go through these lulls. I mean, this is the complaint that we have a lot of times with the NBA season just being too long, right? Like maybe this is just a lull where it's like, hey, who cares about a game in January? Like we'll turn it on like later. Like we're fine. You don't need to go all out.
The best Kobe, Shaq Lakers team was the 2001 Lakers, where they went 15-1 in the playoffs, and they won their last 8 games of the regular season. They weren't even the number 1 seed that year. They were 55-27. They were just good. They were like a lot of teams in the NBA because we know where they had to be. Same thing with the Warriors. They had that great first year of Kevin Durant. The next couple of years, they went under their win total. They were like 60-ish win teams. It's hard to keep. When you have that target on your back as the best team in the league, it's hard to match the other team's intensity, and they definitely did not versus the Timberwolves.
We had an exciting game last night between the Charlotte Hornets and the Dallas Mavericks, Mackenzie, where it was a battle of the 2 favorites to win the Rookie of the Year in the NBA. And, I mean, one is an overwhelming favorite, although I do think that there's value on the second favorite in Cooper Flagg and Con Kneppel. Cooper Flagg, who didn't play the other night, he played last night, scored 49 points with 10 rebounds on 20 of 29 shooting. Con Kneppel, meanwhile, finished with 34 points on 10 of 16 shooting with 4 rebounds and 3 assists, and Kneppel making the 2 clutch free throws at the end of the game, which gave the Hornets a 123-120 win over the Mavericks. They win. They don't cover the 3-point spread, but they do get the win. But, I mean, these 2 players, 2 former teammates, incredible, but, like, I really think that Kneppel is being a little bit, as great as Cooper Flagg has been, Con Kneppel's being a little bit disrespected in this market.
I think he's been underrated. He's like a 19 points per game, 50, 40, 90 guy at this point. The Hornets turnaround in January is almost exactly in line with his trend line as a player individually. But when all year and the year before that and the year before that, we're talking about Cooper Flagg, and then he shows up and he scores 49, comes back from 15 points, hits all of his threes, hits a huge 3 in the last minute to tie it. The narrative of, yes, this guy is who we thought he was. Same with Victor Wembanyama before him. People like to vote for that, so I think he's going to win it.
Yeah, Cooper Flagg right now up on FanDuel, minus 425 favorite to win the Rookie of the Year. Con Kneppel is your second favorite at plus 300, and then it's not even a race. Then it goes all the way down to VJ Edgecombe at 35-1. So it's a 2-man race right now, the 2 Duke players who are racing for this Rookie of the Year title right now. All right, Mac, let's take – also last night, the Wizards beat the Bucks. So if you did get in on the under 30.5 season wins like we talked about yesterday, you're on a good path. If you waited like I recommended because the Bucks were favored, and I'm like, hey, maybe they're going to win against the Wizards, and then we can go with the under. Well, you lost yourself on an opportunity there. Looking at the Bucks' current wins, let's see. It hasn't been reposted yet, but I would assume it's going to go down to 29.5 now on their season win total. Let's take a look at the schedule for tonight in the association. The Lakers take on the aforementioned Wizards. Mackenzie, do we want to lay 7.5 with the Lakers right now?
No, I don't think we do. I think there's trouble in paradise.
Actually, excuse me. It's up to 9 up on FanDuel.
I'll take the 9 with the Wizards. I was very impressed with their game against the Bucks. I think there's, just vibes. I think the Lakers right now are kind of trying to limp to the All-Star break, try to get Austin Reeves back. They've really gotten worse and worse since LeBron's been back, and I've targeted as the LeBron hater, but I'm just looking at the data. Their trend line was straight up to start the year. Easy schedule was a big part of that, and they haven't impressed since. I would not bet the Lakers right now.
Elsewhere, the Raptors visit the Magic. Orlando, a 1-point favorite at home.
I like the Magic here. The Raptors are kind of a Swiss Army knife as far as they have a lot of tools that are kind of okay, but nothing really piercing. And I think the Magic's defense at home, where they've been really good under Jamal Mosley, steps up and keeps them at bay.
All right, here's our system play loading. The Boston Celtics coming off of a loss in their last game. They are 12-point favorites at home against the Sacramento Kings. Are we firing on Kings team total under tonight?
I think so. No reason to bet against it, even though, it's not 100%, but it is 63% or so for the last 4 years. Kings had a really spirited win, loss, close loss against the Sixers. I think they gave a little extra effort that's going to show up in the second night of a back-to-back on the other side of the coast, on the other coast.
Knicks 7.5-point favorites at home against the Blazers. What do we think about laying that number?
I'm looking at the props there. We saw Towns kind of fade into obscurity recently, and Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby, possible trade targets, have been balling out recently. So I think they're kind of saying maybe this is a Towns list team in a few days. So I'm not sure where they're going to repost Towns, but he's been trending in the wrong direction.
Okay. Grizzlies at the Pelicans. New Orleans 2.5-point favorites. Cavs visit the Suns. And Cleveland 3.5-point road favorites. Do they get the job done in Phoenix?
Yeah, Suns on the second night of a back-to-back. It didn't seem too hard by the final score, but that was a tight game all the way into the fourth quarter. So I think the Suns suffer here from that fatigue.
And the Clippers 5.5-point favorites at Denver. Do we like LA on the road?
Yes, 16-3, gonna be 17-3. This is playoff revenge without Jokic, so it's gonna be easy to exercise that revenge. And whatever Nuggets have as a home court advantage, I think is nullified by being on the second night of a back-to-back.
And finally, the Pistons 1-point favorites at the Warriors. On the ice last night, just some confusing. I'm so baffled by what we're seeing from this Colorado Avalanche team. 2 consecutive really, really subpar performances. They got blown out last night, 7-3 in Montreal. And the more that I watched that game, I just felt, Mackenzie, like this is a team, we talked about it a little bit yesterday, which I was a little hesitant to fire on, but I guess my instincts should have prevailed because my gut got the best of me, I guess. They might be just waiting for the Olympic break next week. Some of these players might just be thinking about playing with their fellow countrymen, just worrying about the arrangements that they're going to have to make for their trip to Italy and getting ready for the Olympics. And I'm starting to think, do the teams with more players going to the Olympics are those teams that we should be fading here in this final week? Because the Avalanche have a ton of players that are going to the Olympics, and they've looked terrible in their past couple of games. The Golden Knights have a bunch of players going to the Olympics. They haven't looked good. Like, I just wonder if, like, some of these teams that are some of these players, like, their minds are elsewhere right now.
I very much think it's so. We looked at favorites of minus more than 130 on the last night before the hockey Olympic break, 9-1 for the favorite. But maybe there's a different way to break it down. Maybe it's not just teams that care because they're good versus teams that don't because they're bad. Maybe on a team-by-team basis, we need to analyze it that way.
Yeah, next time we're going to see the Avalanche in action is going to be on Saturday. It's an early start time against the Detroit Red Wings. I don't know. I don't think I have confidence in backing the Avalanche. I mean, that's probably an over game for me coming up on Saturday. So it's just absolutely wild stuff coming up here.
Want to usually shows up on defense. That's across sports.
That's a
or
good
lack
point.
thereof.
That's a great point. Just one game on the ice tonight. It is the Blue Jackets at the Blackhawks. So if you want to bet a little hockey tonight, you only got one game on your schedule. And up on FanDuel right now, Columbus, a minus 137 favorite. College basketball. I was waiting to see if we would get a system play tonight, Mackenzie. Because we have the 2 ranked teams playing against each other in Michigan and Michigan State. Michigan is number 3. Michigan State is number 7. Michigan State currently right now at home up on FanDuel, a 1.5-point dog. I was wondering if they would be a favorite and this would turn into a system play. But right now it is not a system play.
I wonder if we just looked at like 1-point dogs and added it to the system, how much it would change it. Because so often it's right on this line because you're not usually going to be more than 3-4 points better than a team that's ranked lower than you, and you need to be in order to be more than a 1-2 point favorite.
You want to look this?
So it's going to oscillate right in that range more often than not.
Okay, I'll look this up right now. So we know this season the home favorites in the lower ranked versus higher ranked matchups, meaning like the higher number going up against the lower number. Those teams are 9-3 straight up, 8-4 against the spread as the home favorites. But now let's take a look. Forget about home favorites. We're just going to say, and the line is what, less than or equal to 1.5. Is that what we want?
Yeah.
So you can be a 1.5 point dog, or you can be a 1 point dog. All right, here we go. 11-7 straight up, 10-8 ATS.
All right. So, and bigger favorites better. So that's kind of good for the trend, actually, because it shows that directionally it's about 50-50. Then it gets better and better if you're a bigger favorite.
Yeah. So if you are a dog, how about that? Like, so the short dogs actually don't do well. So if you are a dog and the line is 1 or 1.5 this year, you are, let's see, the short dogs are 2-4 straight up in ATS. Yeah.
Right.
So that would apply to Michigan tonight. Is that short dog 2-4 ATS if you want to back Michigan, the home team here in college basketball. All right, that'll wrap up this episode. For our Better Day Premium members, we are doing a live stream here a little bit later on Friday today. And then next week, we will be launching our Props Bonanza. Tons of props that will be coming out for our Better Day Insider and Premium members. We will launch the Super Bowl Ultimate Virtual Assistant for you guys. That's going to be free for all of our members. So not just paying members, any member at BetterDay.com is just going to be able to go use it and have some fun and type in whatever you want, ask any questions, and help formulate any bets, help you do your research on, the props and whatnot for the Super Bowl coming up. And then, of course, Mackenzie and I will be in San Francisco later on next week, live from Radio Row. So we'll do another live stream for our Better Day Premium members. And, of course, we'll get you any insight and interviews that we have while we are there talking to whoever we may run into there in San Francisco as we get ready for the Seahawks and the New England Patriots. For Mackenzie Rivers, I'm Scott Seidenberg. Here's hoping you make today and every day a better day.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.